Hey everyone, Scott from Heatley Guitars here, back for the second installment of this guitar I'm calling Siena. I told you the story about the woods, and this is sort of the story about how I came up with some of these ideas. It's mostly inspired, this particular guitar is mostly inspired by European arch tops, which I think are just beautiful. The Europeans have this sort of flair. Their bindings are really thick and everything sort of is kind of blocky, but somehow it all works and just has just this beautiful style, like builders like Wandre and stuff like that just did these crazy shapes that just somehow worked. And so I tried to do that with this guitar. So let's have a look at some of the details. Pickup covers are kind of unique. They're tortoise on the top, white plastic on the side. And I tried to make them flow with the pick guard so the grain went the same way. I think I did a pretty good job. So the front one fits in there nice. It's got the specs of the lighter color, and as it gets darker down on the pick guard, the bridge pickup is the same. So I did that on purpose. And these pickups were, years ago, a friend of mine who worked at the landfill brought this guitar home. And it had these pickups in it like this, and it was a Japanese guitar that you could tell was inspired by European design. You could tell they were sort of ripping off the Europeans. And they had these pickups that had an insert, and they were white, and they were radius. They were really cool. They were microphonic as hell, like you could talk into them, and it would come out the amp. So I'm a Canadian, inspired by the Japanese, who were inspired by the Europeans. And I just thought it was a cool idea. They're a little bit oversized, again with this sort of the European vibe. They made everything big, but somehow they made it work. They always use these big thick bindings too, so I made the binding extra tall, and I made it extra wide, and I put a strip of here. I think you can see it really good right here. It's tortoise in between there, so it's got tortoise purfling and the white strip before the tortoise. I just think that turned out really nice. Goes with the pick guard. You can see there's a fairly even line all the way around the pick guard. I did that on purpose. You see the knobs, they were inspired by the Italy, sort of like the old churches and when I was in Pisa, everything is made of marble, and there's like black marble inside a white marble, and they have that little line on the sides and stuff. I just thought it was really cool. And at the time I didn't really know I was being inspired. I just sort of absorbed it. And when I came home and started this guitar, I just sort of let it build itself and tried to get out of my own way. And this is sort of what happened. It came out as I was building. So there's the shape again that's on the knobs. Celluloid inlays with celluloid tortoise side dots. Moving up here, this headstock. I think this is some of my best work as far as this Kelvinator style headstock goes. I really like how this one turned out. It's just a beautiful celluloid, It's just, and this guitar was shot totally in nitro, so everything's gonna shrink. Celluloid's gonna shrink. You're gonna see the lines. It's already sinking into the finish. You're gonna see that line and stuff. Eventually, in a few years, it's gonna start looking older. 10 years from now, this guitar is gonna look really vintage. A few videos ago, I don't know if you can see. There you go. That's a good shot. You can see that I countersunk those washers for the tuners. And I mentioned that in a video, I don't know, maybe a month ago or more, and and people have asked, why did you do that? There's a few reasons. One is you can make the headstock thicker and still have the same amount of tuner to wrap your strings on, and you can do it about 50 thou, and that doesn't sound like a lot, but it is quite a bit on headstock. The second reason is when you tighten up that nut, that washer squishes into the finish and it kind of bloops it out. And when you hold it up in the light, you can see it looks like crap. And I'm not the first one that does this. I know Terry McInturf does this too. And the second reason is, or the third reason I guess it is when you tighten that string up, it pulls the tuner that way. And it also pulls the washer that way, and it angles it like that. So what happens is that washer digs into the finish and it smushes it out on that side. It looks like crap. This way, look how nice and flat the finish is. There's no smooshes around the washers and whatnot. And I just think it looks way cleaner, and I like the look of that. And the switch tip has a little piece of tortoise in it. Got to do something special with the switch tip. You know, I just use a football jack on there because that's what it kind of called for. You know, you've seen the back already. Headstock, hip shot tuners. Putting the name on the back of the headstock now, so everybody knows it's a Heatley. Yeah, it just turned out really well. So I'm cracking 5 minutes again. That's sort of the story of it. It's you know, who knows if I'll ever do one like this again. It's just every guitar, you know, they're the same shape, same headstock, but every single guitar is just a little bit different, and sometimes wildly different. The last one, you know, was a red Junior, and the one before that was a yellow, you know, sort of, and every other guitar, that stack right there, every single guitar is different. So it's a cool platform. I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, that's all I got for today. So hope you're having a good day. See you in a few days.